Good morning. My name is Joseph Goldberg, and I am the president of the FIU College of Law Alumni Association. And I'd first like to wish you congratulations to all of the graduates and welcome you as an alum to this great college. Today, I have the honor of introducing our distinguished commencement speaker, Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz. For the last 20 years, she has dedicated her public life to working on behalf of the people of South Florida and has played her own role in the transformation of FIU both at the state legislature and in Congress. Elected to the U.S. House of Representatives in 2004, she represents Florida's 23rd Congressional District, which is the proud home of 22,000 FIU students and alumni, and many of our cultural gems, including the Wolfsonian FIU and the Jewish Museum of South Florida FIU. Congresswoman Wasserman Schultz has championed a number of causes, including efforts to lower health care costs, improve the quality of life for our children, protect Social Security and Medicare, and provide a sensible homeland security plan. Some of her most recent accomplishments include the passage of the Protect Our Children Act, which creates the largest law enforcement effort ever formed for the protection of children. In 2009, the Education and Awareness Requires Learning Young Act, a national education campaign about the threat of breast cancer, became law as part of the Affordable Health Care Act. As a champion of higher education and scientific research, the Congresswoman has been a vital partner in advancing FIU's federal research agenda, namely our environmental and hurricane-related research. Most recently, Congresswoman Wasserman Schultz led the South Florida delegation in helping advance an important Department of Transportation Tiger grant, which would allow FIU to deploy catalytic regional and transportation solutions. And thankfully for us graduates, during her time in the state legislature, our very own College of Law was authorized. She currently serves on the House Committee on Appropriations, is ranking member on its legislative branch subcommittee, serves on the House Appropriations Subcommittee on State and Foreign Operations, and is the chair of the Democratic National Committee. Before being elected to the United States Congress, Congresswoman Wasserman Schultz served as a representative and later a senator in the Florida State Legislature. And throughout her time as a public servant, she has served as a mentor to many of our own fellow graduates who have worked in her office as interns or on her staff. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the Congresswoman, Debbie Wasserman Schultz.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you, Joe. Thank you so much for that very kind and warm introduction. I am thrilled to be here, surrounded by South Florida's best and brightest law school graduates, your proud, supportive families and friends, and the outstanding faculty and staff of the FIU College of Law. It is good to see my former colleague, State Senator Nan Rich, and President Rosenberg, Provost Wartsock, Dean Acosta. Thank you for the gracious invitation to address the 2013 graduating law school class and share in this joyous milestone. More importantly, thank you for your incomparable leadership of this flourishing institution. No one here needs any reminding of the College of Law's meteoric rise. Today, Florida International University's College of Law fulfills the need for high-quality, public, affordable legal education in South Florida and trains one of the most ethnically diverse, culturally diverse group of professionals. FIU Law is now majority female and majority minority, offering access and emphasizing quality side by side. Congratulations. It can be done. It's being done right here at FIU Law every day. Hispanic Business Magazine has ranked FIU Law as one of the top 5 U.S. law schools for Hispanics. That is a significant accomplishment and an important recognition. But we all know that FIU Law is one of our nation's finest law schools with the fastest rise in rankings in the nation. That is remarkable. And it is part of what makes those of us who live here proud to call South Florida home. Each of you sitting here today is a testament to this public treasure, a place where aspiring leaders and lawyers have come from across this state and around the world to learn, to grow, and to confront the most urgent problems of our time. I know that FIU Law is a training ground where students don't just talk about the law in an abstract way, but regularly engage with and even challenge those who help to shape it. I'm proud to stand among so many aspiring leaders, passionate advocates, and rightful heirs to a growing tradition of scholarship and service. Now, with all of that, it may sound as if I'm here today to congratulate each of you on your commencement into the legal profession. But I'm really just here to reassure you that when you're standing in that courtroom during your first trial, you'll look back fondly on how stressful you thought law school was and have a good laugh. I know it's my duty as a commencement speaker to send you off with some pearls of wisdom that will prepare you for the tough decisions that lie ahead. Decisions even more complex than choosing between Java City or Tropical Smoothie, or deciding whether Section A or Section B reigns supreme during your 1L year. Which is it? But I know that you are all smart enough to realize that there isn't some secret answer to the dilemmas ahead. What I do want to share with you, however, are some experiences that I've taken with me throughout my career as a lawmaker, and share with you why I think the law still matters. Before I go any further, let me take a moment to thank your support systems, because I don't think we can thank them enough. All the people in your life who helped you get to where you are today, especially the families. Their love and support have brought you to this special moment. To the families here today, I know each graduate is grateful for the sacrifices you all have made to help them arrive here. We are all grateful for your support. Because of your encouragement and sacrifice, these young people were able to apply their own hard work, drive, and intellect to gain the skills which will empower them and help make our society a better place. Graduates, I urge you to remember that few of us succeed all on our own, but rather with the help of those around us. And this is an important lesson that I hope each of you will apply in your future endeavors. So together, we all delight in this milestone, a special milestone in your lives. Congratulations. Now, as you embark on your legal career, it's worth reflecting on how FIU forever changed your lives for the better, because it dared to dream and hope of a law school that would create opportunities for a better future for all Floridians. If we were to go back in time 13 years, it would have been hard to imagine all of us here today. That's because this law school didn't even exist. Imagine that. Just 13 years ago, this law school did not exist. It was only that, a dream and hope of FIU and our community's leadership, much as your decision to apply to law school started as a dream and hope of a better future for yourselves. In 2000, I was proud to cast my vote in the Florida legislature to create the FIU College of Law. Thank you. In 2002, the school opened its doors to the first class, and after 11 years, this school may be young, but we should not gloss over its special place in education. It's giving the brightest minds of our community, with all their vibrant diversity and talent, access to a truly public legal education. FIU College of Law made access its mission, and all of you here today are a testament to how seriously the school has taken that mission. They've made it their mission because FIU knows the value and the imprint that its graduates will have on South Florida and the world. Because of this, the College of Law teaches international law to each first-year student, because it knows that South Florida is the gateway of the Americas and a hub for international trade. And the hours each student spends outside the classroom in the community service program, providing legal aid to a working mom, a child in need, and a new immigrant, intimately demonstrates how the law can touch real lives right here in our community. Your accomplishments speak for themselves. As the 9th graduating class of the FIU College of Law, you are proof positive that this young school should not be underestimated, as those folks in that competition very quickly found out. You've led the student body in providing more than 50,000 hours of pro bono and community service. You've held a citizenship drive to help scores in our area complete their naturalization paperwork to take one step closer toward the American dream. And you will keep helping FIU set records in passing the bar exam and preparing yourselves for successes beyond the classroom. Perhaps more than anything, I hope that you step through the threshold of your commencement into the legal profession and the confidence that, like your alma mater, you too should not be underestimated. Your time at FIU can be measured in the exams you've taken, the many study group sessions, the pages of case law you've read, and even the pages of case law you've skipped. Never knowing if your professor is about to apply the Socratic method and expose you. That never happened to any of you, I'm sure, right? But your time at FIU can also be measured in what has occurred during your short course of study. As most of you were writing your law school applications and getting set to attend FIU, the daughter of Juan and Selena Sotomayor, a brilliant woman raised in the South Bronx, was named our nation's first Hispanic justice to the Supreme Court. It's a remarkable accomplishment. And during your 3 years here, the High Court has heard cases that cut to the foundation of America's future. You have seen in your own lifetime how law can make history and touch lives. Last year, the court upheld our nation's new health care law, a bill I was proud to vote for as a lawmaker, helping expand quality, affordable health care to millions for whom such care was previously out of reach. This term, the court is weighing many of our most cherished and fundamental civil rights, whether the freedom to marry will be extended to all Americans, regardless of whom they love, and whether the law will still vigorously protect the right of every eligible American to fairly and freely cast their vote. Thank you. Remember, this has all taken place during the few short years of your legal education. What you have seen in this brief time is arguably more than some have seen in a generation. Now, sometimes we romanticize eras before our own, wondering what it must have been like to study or speak out when the court was hearing Brown versus Board of Education, deciding how our country would truly define equality for all. Now, I hope it has become abundantly clear to each of you that during your course of study, we have and are absolutely living in extraordinary, dynamic, and defining times right now. We have urgent challenges before us that have never been more complex, but this is also a time full of immense opportunity. And I'm sure as new attorneys, you will agree with me that in these times, the law still matters. It is more than legal jargon and loopholes. The law provides a medium to touch individual lives for the better. Graduates, this community and this institution are entrusting you with a Juris Doctorate. And I urge each and every one of you to think big and consider how you can seize the opportunities and endless possibilities that come along with that trust. Your own power and abilities should not be underestimated by you or anyone else, but it can happen if you allow yourself to fall into the trap of tradition and labels. Now, I first became a lawmaker around the age many of you are now, representing parts of Broward County in our state legislature in Tallahassee. I'll take you back to 1992. I was 25 years old, newly married, and no woman as young as I was had ever been elected to the state legislature in Florida. Thank you. That's not why I'm telling you that. One sec. The country was in a recession and the gap between rich and poor was growing wider. I was inspired to begin a career in public service because I wanted to help people, particularly young families, and I wanted to work to improve education for our kids and expand access to health care for everyone. After more than 20 years now as a lawmaker, I've seen my fair share of setbacks and gridlock. But for all of those roadblocks, I know why I haven't given up on public service. Because I've absolutely seen and been a part of so many efforts where the law and government have been used for good, where it has lifted families up, where it has stood for what is right, and where it has made individual lives better. I've learned to never underestimate the transformative power of our system and our democracy. And I'm here to say that neither should you. Be open to the possibilities, because sometimes the path to positive change can seem very unlikely. As a mother of 3 beautiful kids, I am heartbroken every time I read about a crime against a child. I knew I wanted to find a way to help, but with the polarized environment in Washington, it can be hard to get anything done. But I've learned that you can build relationships and find common ground with the most unlikely of allies. So let me tell you about my good friend, Congressman Lamar Smith from Texas. Lamar is almost 20 years my senior, and from San Antonio. You couldn't write a more Texan-y Texan for a TV script than Lamar Smith. We could not be on more opposite sides of the spectrum regarding our political philosophies. But instead of playing the same old political game and throwing punches safely from my side of the aisle, one day I walked across the House chamber to speak with him. Now, I'll admit that that walk felt a little like a high school cafeteria. I left my safe spot, strolled right past the jocks table, the area for the band geeks and the chess club, and straight out of my comfort zone. The band geeks and the chess club being my comfort zone. And you know what? I found a friend and a colleague and a partner in Lamar, and we found an issue that was a priority for both of us. We saw each other as parents and as human beings, not as Democrats or Republicans. And together we wrote a bill, which is now federal law, that gives law enforcement the tools they need to help keep our children safe. That law is helping rescue children all over America. More so than any brilliant legislative strategy, it was the relationship we developed that was at the core of how we really made it happen. And that relationship only came to be because we refused to underestimate ourselves and each other. Lamar knew me as a young Jewish woman from South Florida on the service, an unapologetic progressive, and I knew Lamar as a conservative Republican from San Antonio. But we refused to let those narrow labels define our actions, and we refused to let it stand in the way of our real goal, using the law to help and serve others. Now, some of you will go on next year to work for a big law firm or in a state attorney's office or maybe do public interest work. Regardless of where your legal career takes you, I would be remiss in not urging you, at the very least, to take the spirit of public service with you wherever you go. You are the cream of the crop of South Florida, and our community needs your extraordinary talents and abilities. When I first decided that I wanted to run for office, I went to local leaders to share my plans. Almost all of them told me the same thing. You're too young. Wait your turn. Put in your time, and we'll decide when it's your turn. Now, I knew that what I lacked in resources and name recognition would have to be made up in good old-fashioned shoe leather with door-to-door, neighbor-to-neighbor outreach. I spent every day, rain or shine, talking to people in my community. And remember, I was just 25 years old. I knocked on 25,000 doors, and I won more than just an election that day. I won people's trust. I still have the beat-up shoes that I wore that summer because they remind me of where I started from and how, had I listened to those telling me to wait my turn, those who underestimated me, I wouldn't be where I am today. Now, looking back, I'm really not sure whether it was my age, my inexperience, or maybe my gender, but a young Jewish woman simply didn't fit their expectations or their usual playbook. Some 20 years later, I'm proud that I didn't let the naysayers or my own fears hold me back. I didn't make the mistake of underestimating myself or allowing others to. You have all worked so hard, come so far, and dreamed up too many big ideas for this world for you to underestimate yourselves now. In your path ahead, people will try to sell you on taking the easy way or getting quick payoffs. But know this, hard work will get you where you want to be, and nothing can replace its value. I don't come here today asking for you to go into the world as an idealist or to carry out any particular policy proscription. You'll have to find your own way. But I do hope that as you go forward, you will not underestimate the transformative power of our government and the law. Don't fall into the trap that too many will try to lead you, that government is somehow the obstacle. Embrace the idea that government is not all of the problem and can be part of the solution. Just look at the history of our democracy that has led to more prosperity and more freedom than any other nation on this earth. A system that created this law school and that allowed students with last names like yours and mine to attain a world-class education in the great state of Florida. Let that history serve as an inspiration to you to go forth and accomplish great feats, and don't underestimate what you can add. Don't let the cynics dim your horizons before you even get started. Graduates, this is your time, And there's no one path that's more right or wrong for you to achieve for what you see in your future. Whatever path you choose, know this: you don't need anyone's permission, and you don't have to wait until anyone says it's your turn. You must blaze your own trail. Regardless of your exact path, Florida and our nation need your extraordinary leadership. We need legal minds to help guide our innovation economy and South Florida's place as a global region. We need legal minds that will continue to lead our community as one that embraces immigrants with open arms and where those immigrants can thrive. But you don't have to hear that from me. We've all seen the thoughtfulness and activism from so many in your class on this issue. You're ahead of most of my colleagues in Congress on this issue, and that's why we need your voices now. We also need legal minds that will shepherd South Florida through the coming decades as we confront warming waters and a changing climate. And minds that will make it possible for every child from Liberty City to Hialeah to Weston to receive the outstanding education that they richly deserve. Thank you. To the one person back there. So many have sacrificed to see you reach this moment. You have worked so hard, and you have made so many sacrifices yourself. Ultimately, more than any knowledge or special skills that you've learned here, FIU and your friends and family leave you with the same thing my voters gave me: their trust. Trust that you will embark on a career in the spirit of service to others, and that you will never underestimate what each of you is capable of accomplishing. Congratulations to the graduating class of 2013. Good luck, and go Panthers!